Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for F1 2021 action. It is Season 6, Division 1, Round 4 of the Championship as we take in the British Grand Prix from the Silverstone International Circuit. Yeah, I was going to say that. Good evening everyone. My name is James Head, of course. Going to take you through the stream as always on a Saturday night. And joining me in the commentary box is Mr. Gary Donegan. Gary, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm really looking forward to this Round 4 of Division 1. Here at Silverstone, one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic racing track in Formula 1, where it all began all those years ago. So I'm hoping the guys can put on a show for us, and I'm expecting more of the same that we've had for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, first race, of course, held around here in Silverstone in 1950, based on the outskirts of Towcester, which is to the northeast of Oxford if you live in the UK, and, of course, forming up on an original airfield as well. Taken in two counties, Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire as well, in terms of the on-track action. Off-track, though, we will tell you the drivers' standings if I get them up. I've got the F2 standings up at the minute, so I need to try and make a hasty retreat from the F2 standings. It is Montana, though, who took the win last time out in Spain. It was Justas in second and Connor in third. What does that do to the championship standings? Well, Montana leads on 50 points, I should say. I was going to give him 25 points there, but Montana on 50 points leading the way. Connor in second on 40, Verstappen in third on 36, losing that championship lead from last week, didn't even pick up any points. Cantaveras in fourth on 33, Justas in fifth on 30, Rocco in sixth on 23, with Neo in seventh on 18, Albert eighth, I should say, on 15, with Matthias in ninth on 12, and Vaporizer, Ruta and Alphatrix rounding off the top 10, all tied on 10 points. Yulmelmat and Yulbream tied for 13th on 6. Yulmelmat, I know, is not racing tonight. Liam in 15th on 5 along with Tom Robbo. Jensen in 17th on 4 points. And then we've got a whole host of drivers. Nathan, Dylan, Leonard and Daniel all on 3 points, tied for that position. And then Izza in 22nd position on 2 points. M. Short, Okolo, Campbell and Hume haven't scored any points. That's the wrap up of the drivers' standings. Constructors, of course, will follow. But we're about to get onto the on-track action. Montana took the win last week. 2 wins in a row. Can he be stopped tonight?
Yes. And I think his teammate's going to stop him this week. Excuse me. I think Connor's finally going to get... God, excuse me, my throat is very sore today. Connor is going to win tonight, I'm convinced. Last couple of weeks, he's done the alt strategy. We know how quick he is from the alt strategy. We know how quick he is in general. If he can hook up qualifying, if he can be near Montana, and Montana said last week after the race, this is one of his weakest tracks. And remember last season, he did well, but he didn't do Montana levels well here last season, so I'll be interested to see how he gets on. But Connor is my dark horse for tonight's race win.
Yeah, Connor, I think interesting notes, to be honest. I think with Connor, he has got the pace around this track. We've seen it before. And Montana obviously said in last week's interview that this isn't his strongest track. So, will remain to be seen. However, Montana's weakest tracks are normally his strongest tracks, and his strongest tracks are normally his weakest tracks. That's what the trend normally is like here in League of Europe. Jav, by the way, in the comment section, we have got a Jav instinct, I think, to come very soon indeed. But Ireland bottling my bet slip, and now I have to listen to Gary Donegan. Welcome to Saturday night with the League of Europe.
Yeah, it's rough. Oh, and we have rain. We have a wet qualifying. I think it looks like intermediates.
Yeah.
So that's going to throw it out the window now. Who's done the wet practice? Who hasn't bothered doing any wet practice? I think a few guys might have decided to do a couple of laps at least on the wet, given that Silverstone is known to be wet. It rains a lot here in Britain, obviously, so it'd be interesting to see how to get on there on qualifying. This is going to throw up a real curveball here now.
Yeah, unfortunately it has been raining in the UK. I live in the northeast coast, I can definitely tell you it has been raining here in the UK today. Not on the level that it is actually out on track. The intermediate condition tyres, of course, will dispose of 25 litres of water out on track, and that's, of course, equivalent to trying to mow a football pitch, I think, if I'm not mistaken, out on track. That's a weird fact, I know, but I know it. Justas is going to be the first man coming out on track. The Lithuanian, of course, very good result last time out. P2 in Spain, and he'll be looking to try and carry on the form. And Justas normally, in the wet conditions, he's been quite good.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting now to see how people react to these wet conditions. We could have a few surprising names at the front. That's what tends to happen in wet qualifying. We have a bit of a jumbled up. We even seen that last week in real life in Belgium, where we had George Russell grab a second place, nearly got pole position last week. I wonder if we're going to have any shocks like that this week. I would be very surprised, but you never say never in Formula 1. So let's see what the guys do. I think they're going to slowly build up on these laps. They're going to probably put in about 3 or 4 laps worth of fuel. Just have an eye, get a look in for the track. It could dry up by the end of the session. We don't really know yet, but I'd expect the first couple of laps not to be very representative of times, and then the more they get into the session, the more the time should come down, and we should see more representative times. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone does go all out straight out of the bat, or are they going to ease themselves into this qualifying session.
Yeah, I've got to be honest though, riding on board coming through on the Maggotts and Beckett's, there is hardly any spray coming off this track. It's very similar to a race I commentated on last night in Italy, where the track was very similar in terms of the track profile. No spray coming off the tyres, and it was pretty much between the delta point between the dries and the intermediates. So it looks like it's intermediate condition tyres currently in qualifying. Whether it dries up in the later on in qualifying remains to be seen. Bunty, by the way, coming into the comment section and saying, make the most of Montana in last, it won't last long. Yeah, he's down in 20th. He is out on track, though. He's on an outlap. I think he's coming through Maggotts and Beckett's. However, Justas coming through the Hamilton straight, nearly loosened it into the wall. And he has loosened it into the wall. And he's out of the session. And that was a hard hit to the wall. Luckily, obviously, no safety car here in this formation. No red flag either on this game. But Justas already at the session. And if you needed any proof that it is going to be intermediate conditions, that was it.
I did say, were we going to see people take it easy on the first lap? Justas went flooring out that final corner, and he went into the wall. So I think that's going to make people think a bit twice now, going all out. But I think Campbell now is going to be the next guy to follow on a lap, since Justas has now crashed out, and he's heading down now into Brooklands. I love Silverstone for this reason. It's not corner numbers, it's corner names. That's what we love to see. That's how iconic this track is now into Lovefield. Very tricky on traction, even in the wet or even the dry. And look at Lewis getting all out of shape there. The Haas driver hasn't scored any points yet this season, so he'll be looking to get off the mark. We know what he's all about. He's a multiple race winner here in Division 1, so let's see what he can do heading down into Cops. Real lift, even a downshift down to 7th. Just try and get the car in. There is a surge for that corner. There is not going wide through Cops, so there will be penalised. We'll come to that a little bit later, but through Maggotts and Beckett's much slower than we would see in the dry. And what's his first section split? It's this 9.3, so I don't know what that is compared to everyone else. We'll have to wait and see when they finish their laps. Down into Stowe, very tricky to invalidate, to go too wide, but it shouldn't be an issue in the way. He should be going that wide, and he's fleeing for the moment. And now down into the Vale chicane, locks up very hard. Didn't get rear locking, that can be an issue for that corner as well, especially in the west. So let's see what that Haas driver can do through the final corner. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 35.3, and let's see what people can do. Can they beat that? That's the benchmark to beat at the moment.
Yeah, we're about 10 seconds off, I think, in terms of the dry compound and tyre running certainly out on track, but Campbell goes top. Neo, however, Jav's prediction for Formula 1.5 tonight has just gone up to the top end in qualifying. Nathan comes there in third as well. Montana, however, 108.4 through the end of the middle sector. Connor just off to the right-hand side, obviously invalidated. Daniel goes quickest as well. And remember, Daniel, the last time I think we had an inter-race, with Yildirim now going to the top, Daniel had a really good race, of course, last time out in Austria, last season, I should say, in Austria. Montana to the line. Barely goes quicker than Yildirim, about 700ths of a second ahead, but it is Montana out on top, Yildirim in second, Daniel in third. Im Short, however, good to see him back. He is now coming through the final couple of corners in the McLaren, through Vale and in towards Club Corner. To goes to the double right, Connor is out of the session, coming through Farm at turn 2. Im Short to the line, goes 6th. But what happened to Connor? I think he just lost it. Maybe an overcorrection coming through Abbey and then lost it through Farm?
Yeah, that seems to be the issue for him there, and that's just such a shame for Connor. He's had such great pace the last couple of weeks, but his qualifying has been letting him down, and once again he's going to be starting in last place, so that's a real issue for him as his championship contender, rival even, and teammate Montana is now in P1, so that's not going to be doing him any favours at all. We have the first lap times on the board. Drivers are still getting their eye in on the track. I think Jensen is going to be the next one to cross the line, or is actually going to be the Haas of QVR Campbell actually he's 3/10 up on his time, so let's see what he can do. It's going to be a 35.1, and that puts him up into P9. He lost a bit of time that last sector, so he won't be too happy with that, but still pretty close even in the wet times. These times are really close.
Yeah, Jensen as well coming across the line. Of course, championship leader in PSGL F3 nonetheless. I think he'll be very happy that I said that on stream. 36.2 in the Ferrari in 14th position currently. But it would tend to be, drivers will tend to get a second lap in. I mean, I'm on board with Montana. Looks like he's up actually coming through in towards Vale now. It's the double right coming through Vale. He looks like he's going to improve maybe on this time. Runs to the line. 34.1 does improve. So we are seeing drivers go on a second run. We saw Rocco go up to 4th there as well. Alba invalidated on his lap time. Canteras, however, is a 10th up, coming through the final corner now, onto the line, and he goes 5th with a 34.8. But currently, Montana is still a class above the rest. Yildirim in 2nd, Daniel in 3rd. But these second lap times, I think, are more important than the first, because they've got their banker times in, and they're going to be improving as the track evolves, and certainly because it looks to me as if the rain is beginning to ease up on track as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we do get any dry running, but yeah, like you said, the field's going to be starting to come down. The driver's going to start getting more confident in themselves at this track and the conditions, so the times are definitely going to start coming down as we have still a few guys on hot laps. I think Neo is the one to keep an eye on through Magg's Beckett's off his delta split through the middle sector going to be. He's up by 3/10, so it's going to put him in the range of Daniel. Maybe if he can have a good sector, maybe he can get ahead of M. Short and get himself up into P3. Let's see what the Aston Martin driver can do. He's had good qualifying this season, and then in the races the last couple of weeks hasn't gone his way. So we'll see what he can do. I think it has stopped raining. It has stopped raining on track, so it'll be interesting. We're definitely going to have dry running at some point, I would expect now, given we have 10 minutes in the session. So this lap time isn't going to mean all that much, but he goes to P4, and now it's just a matter of when we go into those dry tyres.
Jensen, by the way, went 2nd as well, 34.2 on a 3rd lap on that intermediate condition tyre. But Montana is out on top, 10 minutes to go in the session, about 8 minutes gone if you are being picky. It's Montana out on top though, Jensen 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd. Looking further down the field, Arcolo, normally a qualifying merchant, still hasn't got his lap time in. Montana's just rubbing insult into the wounds now, 34 flat, he goes even quicker on a lap. Arcolo is coming back into the pit lane, so we're not going to see the qualifying merchant on a lap so far. But everyone I think now is going to wait it into the pit lane. The rain has stopped out on track. However, still overcast conditions. This track is not going to dry anytime soon, I don't think. We're going to see DRS enabled, I think, around about the 4-3 minute mark maybe. And then, only then, it's going to be a case, I think, of last person across the line wins and gets pole.
Yeah, track evolution is going to be crazy here the last couple of minutes of the race. I would expect a big flurry. A lot of pressure will be on those dry tyre laps as well, especially if it dries out right at the end of the session. They might only get the one lap in, and an invalidation could really cost you here. But I think a couple of guys have gone back out on a set of intermediates. I think they just want to get the laps on the board while the intermediates are still in a good condition. We're not guaranteed to have dry run, but it's wet now and it's going to get drier, so they just want to make sure that it doesn't get too dry for the intermediates but not dry enough for the dries. So they're going to keep going out, keep circling around and try and get laps on the board, and just wait and see when that DRS is enabled, and that will be that's when we'll know.
Rocco nearly spun, go ahead.
I was going to say, once that DRS is enabled, that's when we know the switch over point, and that's when we'll start seeing drivers come into the pits and go into a set of dry tyre.
Yeah, Rocco nearly spun, coming out of Chapel on the exit of Beckett, running through Chapel, nearly spun the car, had a good half spin and recovered the car well. Campbell, by the way, improved 0.5 per second on his last lap as well, but it's still Montana out on top, Jensen 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd. I wonder, actually, Jav has just put in the comment section, I beg someone hits a 33 and Gary gets to say it.
I hope not. That's my Irish accent coming out tonight. We don't do well with the number 3 or 3 in general, as you can hear by my accent. But yeah, I think as Daniel's all out of shape. Yeah, coming out of turn 1. But I think a lot of people are bailing out on those tyres. A lot of people came straight back into the pits, so I'm expecting us to go back into dries very shortly. Or the intermediates are just not going to work anymore, and they're just going to have to wait it out. Because you look on board Daniel, there's no grip. The rears are probably overheating right now, and that's why he's getting so out of shape at these corners.
Yeah, Nathan I'm just catching on board with. He's lagging like an absolute barge out on track, but he is coming through cops, and he's 4/10 up actually through the end of the first sector. So let's ride on board with this Aston Martin lap, coming through Baggett and then in towards Beckett. But you can see the dry line just beginning to form on the curvature on this track. The curbs are just beginning to form and it's beginning to get dry. That's an invalid lap from Nathan, and that is why I think everyone should wait it out, maybe for a dry set of tyres. Whether or not the rain, it's going to rain later on in the session, whether or not it's going to fully dry, this track remains to be seen. It will be a case, though, I think. The more that we get into the session, I mean, I don't know how long we've got actually in the session left, because there is a yellow flag, apparently, and it's not going off my screen at the minute. I think it's Verstappen that's run out of fuel, and that is why. There we go, 7 minutes to go in the session. It's Montana, Jensen, and Yildirim currently top 3, but the more that we get into the session, the more likely that DRS is going to be enabled towards the end of the session, and therefore, drivers are only going to get maybe 1, maybe 2 laps. It could come down to a right shootout here in Division 1.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely close, and these people that are going out on their laps on the set of intermediate, they want to be careful they don't complete a lap and then DRS gets enabled, and then they have to do another in-lap, and that's going to cost them at least 2.5 minutes when they get into the pits. We know how slow it is. I think a couple of people are starting to select a set of soft tyres. I think Rocco is actually going out on a set of soft tyres. I think it's a bit early yet. You can just see off the back, there's a bit of tiny bit of spray coming off his tyres. It's not dry enough, I don't think. You can there isn't a dry line, it hasn't formed yet, but I think we will get there. It's just a matter of when. But who knows? The track, it doesn't seem very wet. Like you said at the start of the session, there's not a lot of spray coming off the tyres, but you can just see there isn't a dry line. But it'd be interesting to see. Rocco doesn't seem to be struggling too much, but of course, this is his out lap, and DRS is enabled, so he has made the perfect decision. And someone like Cantera as well, like he's on a lap at the moment, he definitely has to come into the pits. So this is going to be the issue now. Like, Rocco's probably going to circulate for a couple of laps and do a few laps on these soft tyres, and the wear's not going to be too bad given the weather, so the track conditions is still very damp, so wear will be low. So let's see how Rocco does, and can he nick himself a surprise pole position? You
never know. Well, he's actually invalid just coming through Maggots and Beckett. But luckily, it might just be, hopefully, this lap invalidation, not this next lap invalidation from Rocco. But yeah, he's on a set of soft compound tyres, currently in 10th position, so he is actually on the bubble. Cantera was behind him, he was 8 tenths down on that lap time, and you can just see, actually, the blue sky is beginning to come out over the track. Montana, however, has decided to go on for a lap. He was a 10th up now on his last lap around, but you can see him having to control and really fight the car, coming now down in towards the Wellington Straight, and then down in towards Brooklands. He's 600s down to the first sector, but as the lap goes on, I think he's going to be down and down, I think, on his time. We'll run above with Montana. 5 minutes to go in the session. Montana is out on top, Jensen second, Yildirim in third. Everyone pretty much in the pit lane apart from Rocco and Montana at this stage. Montana, though, now running down in towards Cop. Scene of an absolute dramatic collision between Verstappen and Hamilton this season. It's Silverstone. Montana, though, having to really lift off, nearly loses it, and I think, to be honest, now is probably the time to come in for dries. Nearly lost the car.
It's dry. Rocco is 7 tenths up on his first lap. He's purple through the first sector, so he's already found 7 tenths in the first sector, and he doesn't even look that amazing. He's still very, very careful on the throttle, so he's on a really good lap so far, and it's definitely a switch-over point. And if Montana, I'm getting into those pits straight away. Montana's sort of hindered himself a little bit here. He's only going to have really one run, maybe, as Rocco absolutely throws it into Cops, and the car sticks, lucky for him. But he's going to be the first one to get an idea of the conditions, and you can just see how much more grip he has on those soft tyres compared to Montana had on the intermediate side. But Montana's probably restricted himself down to maybe just one run this session now, where like Rocco could probably get 2, and the 2 Aston Martins that came out of the pits as well probably going to get 2 runs at it as well. So it'll be interesting to see how many people get 2 runs in or just get the 1. Let's see what Rocco can do. I think this lap time is definitely going to put... Oh, he actually pits. He pits. Wow. That's very surprising. I guess he wants a fresh set of soft tyres, but he was on for a good lap, so I'm surprised he definitely would have been pole, so I'm surprised he's decided to come into the pits, but whatever.
Well, maybe he's not giving the hand away, to be honest. He obviously feels that he's going to be the quicker man out on track, but I think he's going to try and play it tactically and be that last man out on track, because if you are that last man out on track, you have a really good chance, I think, as long as you get clear air around here, you will get possibly pole position, and that I think is what it's going to boil down to really in this session. With 3 minutes to go, it's Montana out on top, as I say, Jensen in second, Yildirim in third. You'll begin to see the flurry of cars coming out the pit lane. The less amount of cars, though, that come out the pit lane at this stage, and there's not many coming out of the pit lane at this stage, it looks like it's going to be a one-lap shootout for the majority of the field. Everyone else, like Neo, Verstappen, Campbell, Nathan, who I'm on board with now, coming around the final the corners at Vale Club, he's now setting up onto a lap, and he's going to be the first man to set possibly 2 runs on this set of soft compound tyre.
Yeah, let's see what he does.
Oh, it's raining! Is it? No,
I think it's just a bit of spray coming off onto the camera. I don't think... No, it's not raining. Is it? No, it's not. No, it's not. I think just a bit of spray coming off onto our camera. I don't know why that's happened, but yeah, I don't think it is raining. Hold your horses, boys. It's definitely not raining. But yeah, let's see what Nathan can do in the Aston Martin. I think this is the right strategy. Sorry, 2.5 seconds up on this time. This is just ridiculous. But yeah, I think this is the right strategy. Get 2 laps in. There's not as much pressure on you to get that 1 lap in. These guys are all going on a 1 lap hero, and they're all leaving it very late to get out of the pits. I guarantee you there's going to be some drivers that do not set a lap time here. With 2 minutes to go, and not even most of the grid is out of the garages yet. It's going to be so close. It's going to be a big pile up into the club chicane. So I'm expecting to see a couple of people not set a lap time, but let's see what they can do through Magus and Beckett. You've got to have so much confidence in the car, especially in the dry when it's been wet all session. You don't really know what the car is going to do. Let's see what he did. He's 5.7 seconds up, so this is going to be pole position for the moment, but the question will be, can he hold it? I think, I've talked about Montana still in the garage, but that is, of course, Connor, who is out of the session. But let's see now. He's got the Vale chicane to navigate through. Just want to take no risk. He's probably going to have a second run at it, so let's see what he can do. It's definitely going to be pole position for the moment. Be interested to see what his teammate Neo behind him does, and that's 27.6. So we're still a little bit off what we do. See, normally in the driver, what can Neo do? It's going to be a 27.6 as well, so not as much. I thought Neo being the driver behind might have gained a little bit track evolution, but not to be seen. So let's see how the guys do on their last runs.
Yeah, Verstappen's on a lap as well. We've got Campbell on a lap just in behind them as well. So both Haas's are on laps, both on a set of soft compound tyre. But Verstappen looks like he's going to get a slight tow maybe out of a Ferrari. I think that's Jensen in front. Jensen has got to be aware here that Verstappen is coming through and he impedes on his lap. And that is not like Jensen. He impedes on his lap coming through Maggotts and Beckett. I don't think he still realises he's behind him. Verstappen is right there and he's trying to get a tow running down the straight. This is crazy. 5 seconds in terms of the second sector split, but Verstappen goes around the outside and then Jensen realises, but look at the traffic that he's having to wade through. He's going to be in front of Montana. Luckily, he gets that clean pit of track. Colo, though, is now impeded on his lap, and Verstappen is not going to be one very happy bunny. He does, however, still go quickest. 27.4, very good lap, but there we go. Campbell with a clear run, 27 flat end behind. He goes into pole position now, pretty much towards the end of qualified. Everyone beginning their final laps.
That was ridiculous by Jensen. I have to say, he was battling Verstappen through Maggotts and Beckett and then down into Stowe. That was just very poor driver awareness, and that's definitely going to be a report, and it's going to be something to say for the stewards. But let's get on board with people on their laps. I think Montana is going to be the last one to cross the line, so keep an eye on him. I'm trying to see, Dylan's going to be the first one. Dylan's invalidated, so Dylan, that's his qualifying over June, the next one driver behind him, and let's see what he can do.
Neo.
6.7 seconds up. Oh, is Neo going again? Is Neo going for another lap?
He's retired in the pit lane.
Oh, he's retired. Sorry. I thought he was on another lap, but there's Doom on board now through Stowe. I think the Aston Martin drive might have went out a little bit too early, and we already seen Verstappen got held up so much, and he still went quicker than those two guys. So these guys could be in big trouble with the track evolution. What is Doom going to do? Can he get himself up at the front and his pole by 25.7? So these lap times are going to absolutely tumble down. Wouter goes first by 25.6, and they're just going to keep on coming at the end of this session.
They are going to keep on coming, still wooed around on top. Quite a few guys getting the lap times in. Albert with a 25.4. However, Montana's coming in towards the final couple of corners as well. M Short covered the outer pole. But what can the championship leader do? Montana now around the final corner. I don't think this is going to be enough running to the line. It isn't! And M. Shaw might have just stolen a sneaky pole position. Kush goes 5th. Tom Rubble now around the final corner to the line. He doesn't do it. It's M. Short on pole position. He is back and back with a bang. The McLaren leaves it late. So late in the session we couldn't even see his lap. M. Short is out on top. And it's Montana in second and it's Albert in third. I mean, look at that. The top 3 with very late lap times in, separated by 200ths of a second. And it's M. Short out on top. Montana in second. Albert in third. Wouter in 4th, Kush in 5th, good showing from both of us. The Relentless boys got there in the end. Doom in 6th with Rocco in 7th, Cantera in 8th, Yilbream in 9th, and then Campbell rounding off the top 10. Verstappen, Arcolo, Tom Robbo, Nathan, and Neo all out of the top 15. Jensen didn't get a lap time in, neither did Daniel, neither did Dylan. Justas and Connor, of course, crash out the session. I think Connor also crashed out the session as well, coming through Farm. But M. Short, 9 thousandths of a second ahead of Montana. The rivalry that we so promised earlier on this season is on.
Just like Slim Shady said all those years ago, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Yeah, M. Short is back. The man, he did Bahrain, he's missed the last 2 rounds. The man who pushed Montana absolutely to the limit last season, just fell short at the final hurdle. and he's back, and he's taking it back with a bang as pole position. It's a dry race for the moment. We know it could have rain later on, but that is a statement from M Short. We knew he won here last season in Division 1, and he'd be looking to do the same. We know how quick he is. This is probably one of his better tracks. So let's see, can he get a win here and put his title challenge on the map? He'd be hoping Montana falls a little further down the grid and not start P2 with him. But these two guys gave us absolutely amazing battles last season, and I'm hoping we have a bit of that tonight as well.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so, to be honest. Everyone is now going to be on a clear playing field as well within this race, because everyone who qualified in that top 10, of course, qualifies on that set of soft compound tyres. So they're going to be on the worn tyre. Everyone, of course, further down the grid is going to be on the slightly less worn tyres. Of course, they get a free choice of tyre from 11th down to 20th. But M Short taking pole by literally the skin of his teeth, 9,000ths of a second. I mean, Alba only 200ths off in third position as well. But the track evolution really played a big factor in that qualifying session. We could have seen lap times, I think, maybe in the 23s, maybe in the 24s, and that would have been good, certainly for Gary's Irish accent. But M Short out on top, Montana in second, and Alba in third. Let's have a look at everyone's choice of tyre, however. Top 10, of course, as I say, qualifying on that set of soft compound tyre. Bit of a mix-up further down the field, though. Both Astons going for a set of softs, Nathan and Neo, as well as Dylan, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, the old strategy isn't that powerful here, given the fact that how important it is to be in a train. Soft, medium tyres, there isn't much of a difference in pace-wise, so I think the guys on the soft are just trying to gain as many positions as they can at the start of the race, get into that train, stay in that train, and then go from there. I think the medium guys, they probably will stay in the train, but they're going to get undercut later on in the race. And it's so difficult to overtake here with the DRS trains. So I think soft, medium, outside top 10 is definitely the strategy to go, especially if there's an early safety car. They could just pit onto a set of mediums, while as the guys on the mediums are probably going to have to go out, stay out long, or throw on a set of hards, which isn't really ideal at this track. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on and how the strategies play out at the end of the race.
Yeah, it will be, to be honest, and I think, honestly, if we get M Short and Montana off the start cleanly, Alba's going to be there maybe to pick up the pieces in behind as well, so the top three are going to be of note off the start. Everyone, to be honest, is going to be off note at the start. We've got the likes of Nathan and Neo on that sort of soft compound tyre further down the field, but the big question is, are these guys going to get embroiled in that DRS train? The DRS train, of course, if you are so further down, say for example you're Yulbrim in 9th position, you're still in that DRS train by lap 3, you've got no chance in terms of the overtaking. This track is literally impossible, like Zandvoort pretty much, to try and overtake within a DRS train. Zandvoort, of course, a totally different track in terms of what they're going to be experiencing, of course, tomorrow. But as Cush and Doom have had a collision running down the Hangar Straight, M Short though out on top, Montana second, Alba in third. Puts an interesting premise on the race, but I'm going to come to you, Gary. Who's your top three?
I'm going to go M Short, Cantera, and Montana as my top three.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. M Short could do it from the front. I'm going to have to go Montana for the win. I'm sorry. I'm really, really boring. Montana, I think, is going to win this. But M Short is on pace. On sufferance, on pace. He is right there or thereabouts. It's going to be a fascinating start. I really hope you guys are tuning in. Get something to eat. Get something to drink. Enjoy with us the next 26 laps of the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. We are moments away from lights out. Everyone now joining onto the back of the grid, with Connor taking up the final position right at the back, and we're about to get going with 5 red lights about to go out very soon at the home of British motorsport. The 5 red lights now coming on in the gantry for round 4 of the championship here in League of Europe Division 1. And it's lights out and away we go. M Short gets a better start than Montana. Montana will have to tuck into the slipstream, and M Short absolutely flies off the grid. There's a Williams going backwards down the field. That's Cush going through, and there's a sprinter coming through. Someone, there's absolute carnage in the background. O'Connor was round, Campbell round, Doom as well. Verstappen, Daniel all caught up in that instant. Absolute carnage coming through Abbey and Farm. Everyone caught up in a massive incident. M Short the lead, running down in towards Brooklands for the first time. It's Montana in second. It's Rooter in third. Alba in fourth. Rocco into 5th position. Connor already up to 10th. Tom Robbo already up to 8th as well. Cush has left the session. I think it's more of a rage than anything else, but M Short leads the way. Montana second, Rooter in third. Absolute crazy start though off the grid.
That was mental. Connor's made 10 positions. He's in P10 after starting last. Oh my god, he's on the mediums horse as well. That's worked out an absolute treat for him. What a chaotic start. Chaotic, as I think Jensen, or no, my timings are absolutely all over the shop. Yeah. My timings are all wrong at the moment, so I do apologise. But yeah, that was absolutely mental from Connor. All the carnage, he managed to get through it all, and he's going to be really in a strong position here. That was absolutely incredible by him to avoid all that carnage.
5/10 of a second, the gap between the leaders. M Short leads the way for Montana in second. Alba now pressurising Ruta down the inside and towards Stowe. Gets the move done, he's in towards third position. Ruta there in fourth, with Rocco there in fifth. Cantera sixth, Yulbream seventh, Nathan and 8, Tom Robbo in ninth. And as you mentioned, Gary, Connor already up 10 positions, up into 10th position. So the Mercedes got a very good chance of retaining the Constructors' lead coming out of tonight in Britain. My timing's now messed up on the left-hand side. VRT Daniel has been given a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Campbell also called up in that instant. Verstappen and Arcolo interestingly move on still. It is still though M Short leading the way. Montana there in second, but you can see right on board now with Montana coming on the exit towards Aintree, running down the Wellington Straight. Montana is right there on sufferance. He's about 5/10 of a second back at this stage. But the more that he holds into the slipstream of M Short, the more that he's going to fancy his chances, because Alba's behind him and Alba can act pretty much as a wingman.
I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I think we need to get away from this NSX working together thing. I don't think they will. I don't think any teammates work together when they're winning a team when it comes to race. I think they're all out for themselves. I think they'll probably be a bit fairer in racing each other, but I don't think they're going to do each other any favors. But Alba's just struggling to stick with these two. He's already burned a lot more ERS than the top two. And Montana can just sit back for a little bit, wait for that DRS, build up the ERS, and then once that gets enabled, the DRS, he can have a good go at the McLaren driver. We know how powerful Slipstream and DRS is here, so I'm going to wait. The drivers are probably going to wait till that DRS is enabled before they start making moves. One driver that isn't going to wait for that DRS is Connor. Connor's going to have a look on Tom Robert down the inside. Stowe put his nose in. Fair to Robert, he left him some space. Can the Mercedes driver hang around the outside into Vale chicane? No, he can't. He's going to try and get a little bit of a switchback. Robbo's all out of shape at the moment, but Connor cannot get the traction down. He's going to be very close. I don't think he's going to be able to go for the move. Maybe into turn 3, he's going to get a great slipstream, but Tom Robbo started to burn some of that ERS. I think Connor's just going to hold back and wait for that DRS to be enabled down.
Nathan's down the inside of Yulbream as well. This is for 7th position. Oh, there's contact between them both. That looked like there was desync-induced contact. Yulbream nearly sent flying into the wall. Luckily for him, I don't think he's got any damage. Nathan certainly has. He's got left side end plate damage. He's going to rejoin the track safely, I think. Runs across the track, Kimi Raikkonen style, to be honest, in Britain. And he's actually trying to defend a position off Jensen. Actually moves to the inside and lets him through. So Nathan and Yulbream caught up in a collision, coming out of Village in towards the loop. And it looked to me, Nathan just lagged back. I was on board with that. Nathan lagged back. That looks like it was desync-induced contact between them both. So hopefully that is going to be the end of what we've seen just there. But Tom Robber now under pressure from Neo for P8 and P9, as well as Montana really pressurising M Short. M Short is holding on to the lead of the race, and he's got 5% more ERS at this stage compared to Montana. Montana, I think, is just going to hold back at this stage. He knows he's got M Short's number, I think. Albert just in behind as well. And Montana looks at the inside line, but there's the warning shot. M Short realises now he's there, and M Short now has got to get a move on for the race lead.
Yeah, and I think it's only a matter of time before Alba starts to fall off the back of these top two, because he has 25% ERS. He has very little ERS. I think we have a bit about, I don't know, never mind, time glitches. Ignore me. Well, yeah, Connor is in P7. Now, Connor is just at the fastest lap of the race. Connor is flying right now, and he's on a set of medium tyres. If Connor can get back into this train, he's 1.3 seconds off Cantera. If he can get into this train, Connor can win this race, because he's going to have the alt strategy. He's going to be on the soft tyres later on in the race, and he's going to be rapid. If Connor does last to first, I'd be amazed. We've only seen it once before. I think that was Alpha Tricks in Season 3 at Australia. That's the only time I've ever seen it here in Division 1. And if Connor can pull that off again, that would be absolutely incredible. He's doing a fantastic job so far. Let's see what he can do. But I think Wheater's just starting to fall off the back of Alba. I think Wheater's a little bit out of position. This is the highest he's been qualifying. Also, I think that wet qualifying and just the absolute chaos that emerged at the end of the session helped him a lot to get into this position. But I don't think he's here usually on merit, so he's going to fall back. Rocco's...
Oh, Tom Bubbles lost it! Tom Robbo into the wall, crashes out of the race, coming out of cops. That's got to be a safety car, surely. Tom Robbo is out of the race, safety car deployed. M Short leads the way, Montana second, Alba in third. And that was the outside curb at cops to blame for that one. Right on board with Neo, who was tackling behind him, pressurised him into a mistake too much. Tom Robbo lost the rear end, into the wall he goes, safety car deployed on lap 4.
Yeah, just forget everything I just said about NSX Connor, because he cannot win this race now. He can't. I'm sorry. I've absolutely commentated jinxed him, but he cannot win this race.
I thought Montana nearly went into the back of M Short. He has!
M Short, he has. Well, are you going to have to serve? Are you going to serve that straight away? Or
I don't think they will.
No.
They've both got a 5-second penalty. Both of them do have a 5-second penalty.
Does Montana have damage? Montana has damage. Montana has a front wing change. Oh, that's gonna hurt him a lot. That is gonna hurt him. He's gonna fall. He's gonna fall. Oh, and Connor's getting held as well. This is gonna be, where is Montana's gonna be? Right at the back nearly. He's down in 12th. Oh, 10th. He's in the midfield. That is not ideal. And I'm sure Marcus and Montana can both get those 5-second penalties made, but that has not worked out as well. Arcolo and Jensen are the only two people that stayed out. Connor's gone to a set of hards. He had to. He couldn't do anything else, and that's really going to hamper him now for the rest of the race. But wow, we have a shaked up grid now, don't we? We have a really shaked up grid right now. This is going to make it very interesting come to safety car restart.
We do. Formula One has definitely come back to Silverstone, everyone, and it's Jensen out on top. Kush, by the way, in AI mode, and that is something we're going to have to speak about as well, because the AI is going to be in second position. Kush's AI is going to be there. He's going to be programmed, I think, to run with the strategy. So it'll be about lap 10, you would imagine, they'll begin to come into the pit lane. Everyone, Arcolo, M Short, Alba, this is going to impact possibly on the restart, because they cannot overtake this AI underneath the safety car period, just like they can't overtake a real car under a safety car period. So Kush has got to be careful. Hopefully he manages to rejoin the session, realising now that his car is in second position. But Jensen, obviously leading the way. Arcolo's there in third, and you've got an AI pretty much between them both. It could put off a few drivers. This AI is going to go backwards through the field, and it could just catch a few people out.
Yeah, I've just noticed, just as it's gone to a set of soft as well, so he can't go to the end. Well, I mean, if he could do 20 odd laps on a set of softs, I would be absolutely astounded. I think Verstappen did as well. Those guys decided to go on to a set of softs instead of going on to a set of... I think these guys, I think they're going to pit. They're going to pit and go on to another set of mediums. I think that's what's going to happen here. Yeah, just that's going... No, okay, never mind. Never mind. I think Verstappen is. Yeah, so Verstappen's on my wavelength. Just get those on there. I think Connor is on the same wavelength as well. So Connor's going to go back onto a set of medium tyres as well. That's very smart by those guys. It saves them a pit stop, and they've used both tyre compounds now, so they can't get disqualified from the race. It's just a shame that it's going to put them at the back of the grid. Sorry, but yeah, this is really Montana's down to 9th now. This is really throwing the cat among the pigeons. Like you said with Kush, if I'm Jensen, I'm going really early on this safety car, because the AI could be programmed quite differently to what he would want to do, and like you said, they cannot overtake him until they get past the start-finish line. So it's going to be interesting. The guy's going to get stuck behind this ghost car for a little bit, and it's going to let Jensen get away just a tad. So keep an eye on that. You might see a few 5-second penalties picked up for illegal overtake under the safety car.
Yeah, which would be a real shame, to be honest, because you would imagine that the AI on this game will certainly be programmed a little bit better, but no one, it's Cody's. Jensen, though, leading the way. Kush in second, he is in AI mode. Arcolo in third, and he's actually out the session, I should say, Kush. M Short in fourth, Alba in fifth, but two drivers that I'm drawn to, Wouter, P6, Rocco, P7. They've gone under the radar, I think, as part of the safety car coming out, and obviously coming into the pit lane. Rocco was well behind. I think he was in the mid-pack, around 9th position. Wouter, I think was just ahead of him.
I think they were together. I think they were together. They were just a little bit behind. They had dropped off on Alba. I think they were in 4th and 5th. So they're still 4th and 5th.
Oh, Kush has joined.
I think Jav's been on the blower and told him to get back in. He's P2 in this race. I think he has to fill out his relentless contract duties. We all know about those esports contracts, boys. You got to fill them out. They're airtight. So
Nathan spun. Yeah, Nathan spun under the safety car.
That's safety car isn't it? Yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I've spun under a safety car before. So that's the most embarrassing thing in the world. So I have a bit of sympathy for Nathan, but I also laugh at Nathan because he laughed at me. So it's not been a great race for Nathan. And Coach still hasn't taken control of his car. But let's see what Jensen does at this restart when he goes, and let's see what happens.
Imagine if Kush's AI now comes into the pit lane under the safety car restart. He doesn't, luckily. It is Jensen, though, out on top, and he now restarts in towards Vale and in towards Club once again. And Jensen has absolutely hammered this restart, 0.5 of a second away. Now coming down the Hamilton straight for the 7th time. It's Jensen who leads. Kush in second. O'Connell for a very clean restart by everyone else. Montana trying to make wavelengths further down the field, and the side-by-side actually further down, with Dylan and Joom going side-by-side in towards Abby and Fon. Gets the move done. Down the inside he goes. Beautiful move of Montana with a late break breathtaking move. What a move that is. Just caught the last end of that. Montana through down the inside line in towards Village. Gets the move done. He's up into 8th position. So already making waves despite that 5-second penalty going to be on. Kush has managed to rejoin the session, by the way, which is good. He's taken control of his car and he's still in 2nd position, which is crucial. But Jensen leads the way. Kush there in 2nd, Arcolo in 3rd. Very clean restart by everyone.
That was absolutely perfectly timed by Jensen. He caught everyone napping. He didn't do the Mugello Bottas sort of safety car restart that we've seen in league racing a lot recently. He went early, caught everyone off guard and managed to get a really nice gap to the rest of the field. And you can just see Emshort getting a little bit stuck behind Arcolo, and Alba is very interested behind him. If I'm Emshort, I'm getting past Arcolo as quick as I can, try and put a driver between myself and Alba, and then try and pull away, because Alba is really burning a lot of ERS. He wants to get this move done. So is Emshort, and so is Arcolo. So they're all equally each other out as Daniel picks up the penalty. This race has not gone well for him, and Montana makes another move, and he's already up into 7th. He's past Rocco, and he's in a net P5 at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. So he's recovered nicely.
Emshort spun. Arcolo, I think Emshort tried to dive that in towards Vale. I just saw that in the foreground of shot. It looked as if Emshort was diving it down the inside line. A little bit of patience wearing thin, maybe. And he's down in 13th position. That is not like Emshort whatsoever. Arcolo there in 3rd position. But it looked like, to me, he was down on the inside curb. The curb either spun him, or there was contact between them both. And now Emshort, patience probably wearing thin. He's got to try and make his way back through the field.
Yeah, that's not the Emshort that we know. He just... Obviously, he thinks he doesn't have to... I don't think Arcolo's going to battle him much, given that the fresher tyres or whatnot, but still, Arcolo's not going to let him by. He's not going to wave him all by. He needs to play a bit cautiously, and he hasn't, and that's going to cost him a lot. He's already down now into 13th, and he has to try and regain all that time. And that puts Alba now in the net lead, and he's right behind Arcolo going into Copsey. Slight lift, Arcolo's a bit wide. Do not be side by side through Max and Beckett's boys. And no, I don't think it's going to happen. So Alba now takes the net lead. Reuter in 2nd, and Montana's already back on the podium after a wing change. So it's just ridiculous. This map's he's already up to P3, net P3. So it'd be interesting to see now, can Reuter hold on to the 2nd place? I said earlier on in the race he was seen a bit out of place, but let's see what he can do now. He's holding his own at the moment, and he's just stuck behind Arcolo for the time being, but I think it won't be too long before he gets past. Let's see if he can, once he gets past Arcolo, can he manage the pace? Can he stick with Alba and maybe challenge for this race win?
I think this is maybe nailed on down and towards Abbey, possibly. Reuter's right on the back of Arcolo, now going to use up the ERS, and actually Arcolo just pulls away from him. So literally the opposite of what I've just said has just happened. Arcolo's still in 4th. However, running down in towards Village, this might be a nailed opportunity. And again, I think he's just wearing thin. Actually dives it down the inside line, really. And now Justas in behind as well, and Contara. And now Reuter trying to go all the way around the outside. Justas has spun, maybe on the curb further down the field. He was side by side with Cantera as a result. But now Reuter gets through on the outside line, and Montana is going to follow through as well. Could be 3 wide almost down in towards Brooklands. Reuter around the outside. Montana all the way around the outside of the German as well. And the Swiss man, the championship leader, battles his way through. He's now into that net P3. And Montana is through. He's into 5th position out on track. Arcolo is dropping his way down the field. Reuter and Montana both followed each other through. Relentless and NSX working together. Who would have thought that?
Montana's really putting on a championship drive here right now. He's a man on a mission right now, and he's going to have Reuter, I suspect, down into Stowe, down the hangar straight. I don't think Reuter's going to have much to defend, but I don't think he has DRS off Albert. No, he doesn't, so it's going to be a sit and duck. And look how close Montana is already. Yeah, easy as you like. And that is Montana up back into 2nd place. He's going to be leading this race once again very shortly indeed. I think Rocco now is going to have a look on Arcolo down the inside of Stowe. He goes a bit wide to make a bit of contact. I think that was fair enough. And Cantera's going to get past as well, or is Arcolo still going to battle this now? Arcolo backs off, and that is Cantera through as well. And Arcolo's just struggling on those old medium tyres. And yeah, that's him down now to P8, and he's going to be way back when he finally decides to pit. He's going to be way back off the back of this pack.
Gotta be honest, Kush on a set of soft compound tyres, really holding his own against Jensen for the lead of the race. 0.5 of a second. Obviously, he is going to have to come into the pit lane unless there's going to be another safety car out on track, which I think he'll be hoping for at this stage. Same with Jensen, because they are going to be right down the back of the field, pretty much in no man's land. Neil now going side by side nearly with Arcolo running down in towards Brooklyn. The 2 Germans about to do battle. Alfa Romeo against Aston Martin. And Arcolo much later on the brakes. Neil just waits in behind, is going to wait for that opportunity. But now, a big DRS train has formed. formed. Alba all the way down to Verstappen, with Justas just on the tail end of that as well. A very big DRS train, but we have seen moves happening in this DRS train, which is fantastic for the racing, of course, out on track. It's fantastic for you guys at home, but Jensen leads the way. 1 lap 10 out of 26. O'Connell runs massively wide, coming through Copse, and there was another one running wide. I think that might have been Yulbring running wide in the back end there as well, but Jensen leads the way. Kush in second, Alba in third. Alba just beginning to bring that gap down maybe to the back of Kush. Still on board with Neil. There is a spinner through the middle sector, and it's Nathan through round Copse, and now Neo, his teammate, down the inside line into Stowe on Arcolo, and Arcolo hangs on, but will Neo get the better exit out of Stowe? No. Arcolo remains in P8.
Yeah, Arcolo's going for an interesting strategy here. He's defending very hard on those old medium tyres, trying to give himself as much track position, try and hold up the people as much as he can as what's going on ahead.
There was a massive snap of oversteer. I think it was from it was one of the two McLarens, either M. Short or Daniel. I think it was Daniel. Massive snap of oversteer coming out through Vale.
Those VRT setups clearly aren't working for those two McLaren guys tonight. Down in 12th and 16th, they'll be quite disappointed with that result. And now Neo is just struggling to get past Arcolo, and that's allowing June to have a little look, and Dylan as well getting very interested behind. Arcolo doing a good job. He's just within that DRS of Cantera, but if he gets out of that, I think Neo and the guys behind him will have easy pickings on him. But yeah, look at Montana. Montana's right on the back of his NSX teammate, NSX Alba, and has double the amount of ERS that Alba as well. So I think it's going to be an easy move down the hangar straight into Stone. That's Montana going to be back up in the P1, I think.
Yeah, you would imagine Montana is going to get this move done. Alba, of course, 1.3 seconds. Kush, by the way, still holding his own there in second position. He has just dropped 0.2 of a second coming through Maggots and Beckett. However, look at this. Montana now on the back of Alba. I say Team Warfare might be at play. Montana, though, sails past him down the inside line. Alba will not fight that, and the Swissman is through on the German. And that is for the net lead of the race at the minute. But remember, Montana has got a 5-second penalty. But if there's anybody that can put that on the back foot, it is Montana. We saw last week in Spain how good he was, how dominant he was, and now he's already 5 tenths ahead of Alba, beginning to press on the button. But it matters, when does Jensen come into the pit lane? Where does Kush come into the pit lane? That is going to be the interesting factor now. That is going to play into hands maybe of Montana, and it might just cost him that 5-second gap that he needs to the end of the race.
Yeah, I think he will get that 5-second. Well, actually, Montana won't get that 5-second penalty removed, actually, because he hit the back of M Short will get the 5-second penalty removed, but not Montana. So Montana, I completely forgot about that. He has to pull the 5-second window, and that's very difficult at a track like this, where it's so difficult to break the DRS. So be interested to see if he can manage that. Then that'll be one hell of a drive if he could pull 5 seconds at a track like this. And
at this stage in the race as well, I've just flicked to the leader. Montana and M Short are separated by 5 seconds out on track. Imagine that.
It's going to be, if the train sticks together and like everyone is still within DRS of each other, Montana's going to have a big issue when it comes to just ending the race. If he's already 5 seconds, the gap between him and Marcus, which goes down to 12th, he'd be going from 1st to 12th. So Montana's got to be careful here. He's got to really get the hammer down and start pushing. And Alba's already dropped out of DRS. He has no ERS as well. He's really struggling, and Wooter needs to get past as well, because Wooter has a great chance of winning this race given Montana's penalty. Kush finally comes into the pit lane, and that's one driver ahead of Montana that he doesn't have to worry about.
Yeah, Neo gets the move done as well on Arcolo coming through Stowe. He's through and he's into 8th position. Kush, I should say, is into the pit lane. Cantera and is up to 6th position. Wooter, though, right on the back of Alba. Of course, Wooter, former F1 Esports Challenger Series driver, if I'm not mistaken. He's right on the back of Alba. Jensen there out on top, Montana second, Alba in third, Wooter in fourth. But yeah, Wooter has got sublime pace compared to Alba in front. The German has had good showing in terms of his pace all season so far, but Wooter on this track around here at Silverstone could be ready to react. NSX against Relentless are about to get going, and then you've got Rocco in behind, who's part of Excel, of course. So we could have the absolute train between the three teams that are probably most revered here in League of Europe. But Jensen leads the way, Montana second, Alba in third. We are at the halfway stage here at Silverstone, and of course, if you are new to tune into League Racing TV, tick that notification bell, stay subscribed, of course, and get that subscriber count up to 700, please. Jensen's still leading the way, though.
I didn't know we were on League Racing TV tonight, James.
Oh, League Racing Europe, League of Europe, I should say, not League Racing TV. My God, you can go and check out that channel if you want.
cheeky plug. But yeah, Alba's just really struggling here. This is becoming a trend. Here comes Wooter now. I'll come back to this now in a second. I want to see if Wooter can get the move done. No, he can't. No. But Alba just seems to struggle a lot in the race. His ERS management is probably one of the worst in Division 1. It is. I don't want to go hard on the guy as June gets past Arcolo as well. He has Nathan spin again.
Yes.
Alba just doesn't seem to have any ERS management at all. It just seems to be, I don't know, it's just hold X and hope that you have enough for the whole race. It just doesn't seem to work, as he's already dropped so far off his NSX teammate Montana. Gap 2 seconds already. That is just crazy.
And Connor's going to get a great run on M. Shaw, so Arcolo forced out wide by M. Shaw getting the move done, and now Connor picks up 2 positions for the price of 1. He'll have that with a bag of chips as well. Connor is through, and he's into 10th position. M. Shaw down to 11th. Arcolo is dropping his way down the field. He surely must have some sort of damage on that car. After that slight bit of contact, Arcolo, I think, has just rejoined as well. Dangerously on Verstappen. Verstappen has lost position to Justas, and now Daniel tries to go all around the outside of Campbell in towards Brooklands, now in towards Luffield. Little bit of side-by-side contact, QVO and VRT, no love lost between them both, and now Campbell is under pressure from Daniel, but I think Campbell is just going to hold this down in towards Cops. Jensen, though, still leading the way. Montana is on the back of this. Reuter, though, chomping at the bit to try and get third.
Reuter needs to get past Alba. He knows that he has a chance of winning this race, and what a race win it would be for him, so he needs to get past Alba as quick as possible. I think he's going to do it this lap. I think Alba just has no more ERS to defend with, and I think the likes of Rocco and Cantera are going to get very interested behind to steal that last podium position off Alba, who's already derating. Look how much more ERS Wouter had. So let's see, can Wouter stick within 5 seconds of Montana? That is going to be the question now. That's what he needs to do if he wants to win this race. So let's see what happens. I think he can do it. I really think he can do it. He's shown really good pace. He has really surprised me tonight. So let's see what the relentless driver can do.
Jensen looks like he's getting a second wind on those tyres, though, and that's my fear. I think Montana could be held up by Jensen. If he doesn't get past in the next 3 laps, I think, before Jensen decides to come into the pit lane, Montana is in trouble. I think Reuter and Albert will close up within a second. They'll be within that DRS range to Montana, and that is what's going to be crucial, I think, at the end of this race. Whether Montana can get this move done now, on the run down in towards Stowe, more than likely, down in towards the end of the 3rd sector, and down in towards Vale, as he has a massive moment coming out of Luffield, and that will cost him a bit of time as well. Gap now 1.5 seconds. Albert, though, was trying to fight back on the back of Reuter. Since you've said, by the way, that he had the worst ERS management, he is actually saving up his ERS. It's 25% now in terms of that. Reuter's on 60%, Rocco and behind on 43% as well. Massive DRS train, though, forming all the way down to Justas, who's still there in 15th position, right down at the bottom end. Montana's not going to get the move done on Jensen this lap around, on the run in towards Stowe. Alba, however, might fancy his chances on the back of Reuter, and we're going to see the yo-yo effect in effect between them both. Alba backs off, though, and Reuter will remain in 3rd for now, as Connor tries to make his move on Dylan down the inside and towards Stowe. Gets the move done, the Mercedes through, and he's into 9th.
Yeah, what could have been for Connor this race? He has such a good start from last place. He got up to 7th after a handful of laps, and then that safety car just absolutely threw his strategy out the window. So he's just trying to salvage whatever he can this race and try and get some decent points for the championship. He's not looking too bad at the moment. He's within that train for the podium, so if he can just keep picking off these moves, he's got a chance. But it's going to be very difficult once he gets towards this train. You can just see how everyone's starting to pile up on the back of Wouter. It's getting very, very large, this train, and this is the issue with Silverstone. It's just so difficult to actually make the moves when you're stuck in the train. The further you are down in the train, the harder it is. And look how much ERS Alba's been able to save up behind Wouter, just sitting in his DRS, picking up as much ERS, not burning as much in the clean air. And this is working out really well for the NSX driver. He's going to have a great chance of getting back past Wouter and back up into P2. And Montana is, even though he hasn't got past Jensen yet, Jensen's pace is good enough that they're still pulling away little by little on Wouter. Gap is still not incredibly large. There's still a long way to go to get that 5-second window, but Montana's just chipping away at it little by little.
Yeah, chipping away, but he is running out of laps. I've got to be honest. Montana, though, is looking to try and get the move done on Jensen. Further down the field, though, Alba going to try and come in steam down the inside line. Rocco and Cantera follow the train, and Alba down the inside line. And Wouter in this contact between them both. That was inevitable. Spins Wouter around. Alba down the inside line. He can't get that position back as Wouter is all the way down the field. That might be a penalty coming his way. Alba down the inside in towards Stowe. Did not make the commitment, probably given side pod damage and all of that as well. Alba now up to 3rd position. Montana, that's what he needs. That little bit of contact might be what he needs now to try and salvage something out of this race in terms of that 5-second penalty. But that contact really wasn't needed.
No, that's a Yeah, that's
Silly.
That's a very silly lunge by Alba. There's so late into a corner. There is no need. It's not lap 26. It's lap 17, and it's just poor driving management, and it's really sad to see because we were having such a great battle. It was giving us such great entertainment, and now it's tainted the race a little bit. This podium, and I think, yeah, you can see Ryan's not too happy in the chat, and I don't blame him, to be honest. It's just reckless driving, and I don't want to harp on about it too much, but it's we were having his best race of the season, and it's just a bit of just poor driving, and it's just cost him a little bit. But it's made this podium fight a little bit more interesting again. So now it's Rocco's turn to have a go at Alba, and will he have the same fate as we were? Will be able to get the move done?
Is Montana? Is Montana on the back of Jensen as well? Going to take the race lead off him. The Ferrari just pulls to one side and lets him through. Montana then is through into the lead of the race. I think Jensen surely is going to pit in this lap. No, he stays out. Jensen stays out, which is interesting. Connor, by the way, making inroads through on Neo. He's right on the back of Neo. This is going to be maybe first place to Montana. Second place on the podium is going to go to anyone at this stage.
I don't know who's going to be on this podium. It might not even be Montana at this rate. At this rate, it won't be Montana because Alba and Rocco could win this race. You know, like as crazy that may sound, if Rocco can get past Alba and stay within 5 seconds, a safety car now would absolutely kill Montana. Could you imagine a safety car with that 5-second pen leaning over you? That would be absolutely chaotic for him. And Nathan has left the session. He's had a rough race, but yeah, this is like, as I think Connor is having to get a bit interested behind Neo, but like all these guys in this train now behind Alba, they are in a battle for a net race win. So they got to be careful who they pick their battles. They don't want to lose too much time. If they lose too much time, they're going to lose 5 seconds to Montana, but they have a chance of winning this race. They got to play it smart, and let's see what happens, because this is going to get very fighty, I think. Because I think the longer this race goes on, the more guys will start to believe they have a chance of winning this race.
Yeah, Connor looks so quick on the back of Neo. I'm just right on board with him through the entire middle sector. And look at the pace he's got compared to Neo. This could be job done. Down in towards Stowe. He gets a phenomenal run off the Chapel. Now down in towards Stowe. Absolutely sails by him. As if he's not even there. Connor is through and he's into 6th position. Very impressive stuff indeed. Neil there in 7th. Campbell losing a position further down the field as well to Daniel. Cantera on the back of Rocco. And Rocco is on the back of Albert as well. Montana though leading the way. Jensen in 2nd. That gap is 3.5 seconds. The gap now, because Montana's in clear air, is going up. And that means only one thing. Curtains for everyone if you're trying to get within 5 seconds of Montana. Because it looks like the defending champion, the race leader, and the championship leader, I should say, as well, currently leading this race as Doom trying to send it down the inside line of Neo when he's right on the back of him. Coming now through Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight for the 19th time out on track. Montana though leading the way. Jensen in 2nd, Alba in 3rd. Doom on the back, nobody making moves though. I think wisely so, to be honest, because what we saw with Alba earlier on in the race. It's Dylan right on the back of Doom.
Yeah, and Rocco needs to get past Alba if he wants to win this race. Alba's just doing enough to hold on to this P2. Net P. It's a net P1 really. This is his P1. He's still within 5 seconds of NSX Montana, so he is the de facto race leader here. And Rocco, he has so much more ERS. He has 50% more ERS. If I'm him, I'm starting to burn some of that and trying to get this move done because I am not waiting to the last lap to try and get past Alba. As you can see, Cantera is very interested behind. He's burning all his ERS. He doesn't have much of it, not compared to Rocco. He's going to start burning. Rocco, in fact, is starting to burn a bit more. He's not going to be close enough to Alba. I think he's getting closer though. He just needs to send it because gap.
I'm sure. Don't worry. He tried to go around the outside of Stowe. Didn't happen. He could go around the outside in towards Vale. No. Dylan stays ahead.
Yeah. So the gap is now 3.5 seconds between Alba and Montana with 6 laps to go. I think this could be difficult for Montana, if I'm totally honest. 1.4 seconds in 6 laps. Alba's no slouch. So let's see what happens as Arcola picks up a penalty. Not many pens here tonight. Not as many as you'd think. I think Cantera just hit the back of Rocco there. Rocco is really feeling the pressure from Cantera. He really needs to get this move done on Alba, but Alba's just quick in the right places, and that's just letting him stay ahead for the time being.
Yeah, everyone on a big old DRS train, as you say. Yildirim on the back of M Short. There is a yellow flag, and it is Arcolo who has retired out of the race into the pit lane. Disappointing from the German, of course, after his moments early on in the race as well. But Dylan in 10th position. Daniel really on the cusp there on the back of Yildirim, and Alba 3-second penalty.
So Rocco is the net race leader right now, and the gap between him and Montana is 4 seconds.
4 seconds.
Oh, this is gonna be tight. This is gonna be very tight.
I think Montana's gonna win this. Just purely because Rocco doesn't look like he's got the pace on those tyres compared to what Montana does in a clear track ahead of him. Rocco is in a wash behind Alba. He's going to be catching up to the back, but it's only the DRS straights where it'll matter, I think, for Rocco. If there was a third DRS straight, of course, running down the start-finish rate remains to be seen. Into the pit lane, by the way, Jensen from second position. Jensen is finally into pit lane, going to go onto the set of soft compound tyres, probably going to go for fastest lap as well. Gap between Montana and Alba, 3.5 seconds. Gap between Montana and Rocco, 4.1 seconds, 4.2 seconds, in fact, coming through Albion Farm. That gap is going up. Montana fractionally is doing enough to win this race.
It depends, because I think Rocco's going to gain all back now. Ooh, I think who's made a move there?
Down the inside line of Dylan, down in towards Village. Lovely move that was. Down the inside, he goes up to 8th.
Yeah, Emperor's had a nice recovery drive since that spin. But I think, look, Rocco's gaining enough on the straights that the gap that Montana's making through the corners isn't enough. Gap went down to 4 seconds there. And Rocco has a lot of ERS. If I'm Rocco, if I'm Rocco's Jeff, I'm telling him to burn all that ERS right now. He needs to get a move on because he can win this race. And I hope people are in his ear telling him he can actually do this, because the gap is hovering around 4.1. It's not. It's going to come straight down this hanger straight. He's going to gain about 2/10 on Montana, just given the ERS or the DRS and the slipstream. So I wouldn't rule Rocco out here. Just that DRS is so strong and the slipstream is so strong. It's going to do him an absolute favour down this straight. Just watch, see how much the gap comes down. Just look at it tumbling down. It's going to come down to near 3.9 seconds. 3.9 seconds, so he gained 3/10 on that straight. So I wouldn't rule him out, not by a long shot.
Connor's going to have something to say about this, though. Down the inside and towards Rail on Cantera. Absolutely sends it. The Alpine is still there on the inside line. Fair, very fair driver between them both. Round the outside towards Club. Beautiful move by Connor. Slight side-by-side contact there, to be honest, but Connor is through. I think deservedly so. Brilliant move, I think. Brilliant driving as well by Cantera to try and defend that position. Connor, though, is through into 4th, and he could be the nail in the coffin that cost Rocco this race win.
Yeah, Connor can actually still win this race. I said he could win this race after the 4 laps, and then the safety car came out and he said he had no chance of winning this race, and now he's trying to prove me wrong. Gap to him and Montana is 5.2. He's got 2 drivers to get past. Well, he only has to get past Rocco, really. If he gets past Rocco, he is the de facto race leader. From last to first, what a race this would be, and what this would do for his championship would be immense. So let's see what he can do. Gap now 4.5. Oh, this is going to be nail-biting stuff come the end of this race. This is going to be heart and mouth for Rocco. Let's see what he can do with 4 laps to go. Montana giving it absolutely everything at the front. Will it be enough though? Alba only has like 5% ERS, so he's going to be really struggling. And I think if Rocco can get a little bit closer, I don't think Alba can hold him back. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think he can. 4.6 seconds the gap. It's 4.2 seconds, by the way. 5.2 seconds, I should say, to Connor. Connor is not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. However, he needs to get the move done. M. Short, by the way, through on June. Down into the inside of Stowe, gets the move done. Daniel, just in the background there as well, gets the move done in towards Stowe. Stowe seems to be everyone's favourite places for moves. Yulbring backs off that move, and Daniel is through. And he's into that 10th position. There's the penalties, by the way. Montana with that 5-second penalty. Alba, 3 seconds. Rocco hasn't got a penalty. Neither has Connor, and Connor now is borderline 5 seconds behind Montana. This is going to come down to an absolute thriller in terms of the penalty. 4 laps to go. Montana does lead the way. Alba in 2nd, Rocco in 3rd, Connor in 4th. We think it's between Rocco and Connor. However, gap is going up. Montana is 5 seconds clear of Rocco. This is going to be so close.
It's look at the DRS slipstream. It's now 4.6. It's just going to come straight back down on the straight. It's going to come straight back down. So we won't know. Oh, this is going to be tantalising. This is going to be
final
Rocco
corner.
Needs to get, I think Rocco needs to get past Alba. To be honest, I think Alba is holding up Rocco. If I'm totally honest here, Alba just does not have the pace, doesn't have the ERS. Rocco just cannot get close enough in the right areas. He needs to watch out for Connor, because Connor is a man on a mission right now. He's got enough ERS to defend from Connor, but he's in an NSX sandwich right now, and I think he'll be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So let's see what the Red Bull driver can do. This is the closest he's been to Alba in a while.
What, run by Connor?
Yeah, you got to watch out for Connor. I don't think Connor's going to be close enough, because Rocco has enough ERS, and he's going to be close enough to Alba. This is it. He's got to go round the outside of Stowe. Alba
Look at Connor!
Connor's there as well. That's well defended by Alba, to be fair. That's what he tried to do. Connor's going to try and go around the outside. No way. Impossible. There's no way. Oh my god, he's going to do it. Oh, they're close. What a move by Connor. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous, and that is how you give your chance of winning this race. So let's see now, can he get past Alba? If Alba lets him go by straight away, I'll be very, very curious of what's being said in that party, because he's put up a big fight behind Rocco, and if Connor flies straight past...
Oh, Cantera! Down the inside on Rocco! Does he get the move done? It's going to be side by side running down the Wellington straight. Watch out for Neo and all of this as well. Jensen, new fastest lap of the race. That really doesn't matter in the whole grand scheme of things. Rocco, though, on the back of Cantera. Is he going to go around the outside of Brooklands? Maybe the switch back in towards Lovefield and then on the exit in towards Woodcote. However, Cantera is through and he's into P4. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, Cantera now, I think he's up to a net third position after Alba's penalty, so...
Will it be, though?
Alba has a 3-second penalty, so it will be, yeah. Alba has a 3-second pen, so I think the gap is less than 3 seconds between those two guys at least, so... Just keep an eye on Connor now. Can he get past Alba and get that move done and move himself up to a chance of winning this race? It's going to be so close.
Montana's more than 5 seconds clear of Connor, by the way, as well.
Yeah, he is. So Connor needs to get a move on here if he wants to win this race. He needs to get past Alba and try and give it absolutely everything.
Down the inside line of Cantera, down the inside in towards Stowe. Lovely move. He repays that factor, repays that move from Cantera just half a lap ago. And Rocco is through and he's into P4. Connor, though, has got to be given a chance. Where is Alba going to fit in all of this? Is it going to be Team Tactics NSX style, or is it going to be Connor against Alba for possibly the win of this race? Alba, of course, is going to drop down the field as a result of that 3-second penalty. But Connor has landed himself with a big opportunity to try and win this race. It could even be, and I'm not going to say this, it could even be a Mercedes 1-2 at this stage.
It's very possible because Connor needs to find a lot of time now. He's close to Alba. Yeah, and Alba's just going to let him go. So this is yeah, I'm gonna have to be very careful what I say here because I just don't understand what Alba's been doing for the last 24 laps when he's been battling like crazy, and then an SX driver comes up behind him and he lets him go straight away without using the arrest.
Gap.
That's all I'm going to say, but Connor has a great chance of winning this race. I think he will win this race now. We'll have to see come the end of the last lap.
It's 4.9 seconds coming through Copse for the penultimate time in the British Grand Prix. Connor is trying to chase down his teammate for the race win. Oh, and he's nearly all out of shape coming through Maggots and Beckett. That might have just cost him the time, but look at this. It's now back at 5 seconds, dead on. This is going to be minutely close. Connor, of course, has got everyone else in a massive DRS train in behind, all the way down to Campbell, for goodness sake, down in 12th position. It is a train, pretty much, separating the points at this stage. Montana leads the way. Connor, though, 4.8 seconds the gap. I have a feeling now Montana is backing off, and Connor is going to take this race win. Through the final corner, onto the final lap we go. It's Montana that leads the way. Connor in second, but Connor, I think, needs to do it fairly out on track, and I think he's been awarded it fairly because he's just been a class above the rest in terms of the pace in the mid-pack.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to take anything away from this potential win for Connor. I just find it a bit strange the way Alba was defending very hard to the likes of Wooter and Rocco. Now once Connor came up the back and behind him, he didn't do anything to try and stop him from getting it. But nonetheless, that doesn't take anything away from Connor. He started last place, and he is looking ever likely to take home a win. And what a win it will be. And it will be a 1-2 for Mercedes. They will absolutely walk in this championship. The constructors, you could call the constructors now. It's over. It's over. Like, there's no one close to them. This is ridiculous. But yeah, as long as Connor doesn't pick up a lazy pen here, this should be his win.
It should be his win, but could Connor back off and give Montana a win? Is another interesting thing, and if that happens, I'm just going to quit commentary for the rest of my life, I think. Montana, though, out in front, 4.6 seconds ahead. He has done it the hard way out on track, currently leading. Connor is 4.6 seconds behind. It's going to be enough, possibly, to try, but one mistake will be crucial. If Connor makes one mistake, that is it, possibly, and Montana will take the race win into Valen Club for the final time. Montana has done it out on track. He's done it the hard way. He's dominated out in front, and he wins in Britain. But Connor round the final quarter, 4.5 seconds is enough, and he gets P1. Montana second, Rocco on the podium in third as well. I'm sure with that 5-second penalty, we'll have to see where that is going to put him, maybe further down if that gets removed. Cantera there in fourth, he had the pace. Neo in fifth, Dylan sixth. Great result for the XL boys. Gary jumping up and down, I'm sure, in the commentary box. Alba there in seventh, Campbell in eighth, Daniel in ninth, Doom in 10th, Yilbrim 11th, M Short in 12th, waiting on Relentless Kush, who comes across the line, spins across the line. How on earth his car has remained in one tact, I do not understand with that crash. But drive of the day, there's only got to be one, surely, and it is NSX Connor, rightfully so.
That's one of the best races driven in LOE ever. Last place, got screwed over by the safety car, took it on the chin, came back through the field, and has taken home such an important race win. He's taken 7 points off his championship rival Montana. Gap is down to 3 points, and Connor is now really showing he is someone to look out for in this championship. He is a real contender now. That's 3 podiums in a row, so he is really looking like the man to challenge Montana this season.
It's a bit like real life, I think, this. I'm getting flashbacks. It is, though. Connor, who has taken the race win, and we'll have a roll down of the full order. It's only been done once before, but alas, the first challenge completed by Connor. Probably not his intention whatsoever. He wins, though, in just shy of 40 minutes this race. Connor has won for Montana in second. 5-second penalty, very costly indeed. I'm sure he will appeal that to the absolute rafters. Rocco there in third. Cantera in fourth with Neo in fifth. Dylan in sixth with Albert in seventh. Campbell in 8th, Daniel in 9th, and Doom rounding off the top 10 with Yilbream in 11th. M. Short actually finishes in the points, and his 5-second penalty, by the way, will put him ahead of Daniel. So, if that gets removed, he's going to be in 9th position. If it doesn't get removed, he gets P12, and he also finishes with just 1 point after starting, of course, from pole position. Jostas in 13th, with Verstappen in 14th, Reuter in 15th, Jensen in 16th, Kush finished in 17th, Jensen as well, fastest lap of the race, he will get a point. Alcolo in 18th, Nathan in 19th, and Tom Robbo in 20th, of course. The 3 drivers, of course, Alcolo, Nathan, and Tom Robbo not ending off. Rocco has managed to join us in the party. We'll wait on Connor and Montana as well to join us in just a short while. But unbelievable race in Silverstone. I said to Gary beforehand, it might be a race of the season. Didn't expect the first challenge to be completed tonight whatsoever. Connor has joined us, though, in the commentary box, and the P1 win, of course, out on track. That must have been the wildest dream at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed about qualifying, but pretty much sums up my season in qualifying. But no, the pace was good in the race. Just a shame about the safety car.
Because you were on a set of medium compound tyres, if I'm not mistaken, before that safety car came out?
Yeah, I started on them, had to pit for the hards and to go back to mediums and start all again at the back.
But the pace throughout that race, after that safety car period, the pace of the race was just absolutely phenomenal. You were coming so under the radar. I didn't even notice you, I think, until about lap 20, and you were right behind Cantera. Just talk us through how difficult it was in that DRS trim to try and pull off moves like what you did and end up winning the race.
Well, it wasn't too hard. You just had to wait for a mistake. Because, I don't know, I'm not really sure what happened. People seem to be struggling in the corners quite a bit. So I just had to wait for a mistake and just empty the battery, and it seemed to work okay.
It did seem to work okay. Gary, I'm going to hand over to you. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to talk through that start you had. Of course, you had a dreadful qualifying, like you said, starting last after crashing out. Starting on mediums, and then by the end of lap 1 you were 7th. Like, what happened? Talk us through it. Like, how did you manage to make your way through all that chaos without picking up any damage and making an absolutely huge amount of positions?
Yeah, the start was pretty good. I had a decent start. I saw there was a bit of a mess up front, so I just backed off. And there's just a clear path I just drove through, and everyone else sort of had their own dramas. And next thing I knew, I was in P10. I was like, oh, fair enough, but yeah, pretty good. I don't think I could do that again.
Yeah, and then of course you made that great start, and then the safety car came out, and you were probably thinking, oh, what do I need to have some good luck? And then you obviously pitted, and then pitted again to get rid of the hard tyres, and you were near the back of the field. Did you ever think, really, like, what was your aim after that, when the safety car restart happened? Was it just like, get as many points as possible? Because you had clearly good pace. Were you just thinking, we'll go flat out now, see what happens, and then ultimately in the end you ended up winning? But I'm sure that wasn't in your plan going through that safety car restart.
No, I thought I'd be lucky to get points because everyone's on the same tyre. It's just going to be a DRS train, but the pace was good. I was pretty surprised about that.
Yeah.
Did not expect the win at all. Well, I don't know if I'm still going to get the win if Montana's penalty get removed or not, but
yeah,
I'll take it for now.
Yeah, well, I think Montana hit the back of M Short, so I'd be kind of surprised if it was removed, but I don't know. But yeah, just final question for me then for you is, now you've got your first win. You're 3 points behind Montana in the championship, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think you can put it to Montana now? We know you need to sort of that qualifying maybe, but if that qualifying can get right, you're definitely in contention, do you think?
If I can sort my qualifying, then yes, but I can fight with him in the race. But in qualifying, I still can't get anywhere near. But I think I've just got to work on that if I want a chance at the title.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can work on that qualifying and then give us a great title fight. And congrats on your win, man, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Cheers, man. See ya.
Yeah.
And we'll now move on to the man, of course, who finished in P2. Going to be very disappointed, I believe. Montana, though, out on track, finishing second position. 5-second penalty. We don't know if it's going to be removed or not, but just talk us through your race and talk us through that incident going into the pit lane.
Actually, not at all disappointed. I said last week, Silverstone is my worst track, so I'm quite happy with that. Quali was just I knew I could get pole easily, but that would be way too big of a risk with a slight damp track. So I had more to lose than to win, so I was just happy to be there. Then the safety car incident, I don't know, it's a hard one. People will say, well, be aware and don't brake that late. I must say I'm short braked really early. Like I braked quite a bit later, still made the pit speed easily. Well, with touching him probably. So yeah, I don't know. He was also trying to back me up because I would lose more positions as the Mercedes in the pit lane, which is fair and smart, to be honest. So difficult. I kind of received the penalty with the wing damage and the position, but I don't know if the suits are going to remove it or not. Probably not, because I'm from Mana 6 and they're biased, but yeah, after that I actually gave up all the hope, but then because I know it's a slipstream fest around this track, harder to overtake than Monaco, but Cantera didn't fight me, Rocco didn't fight me, and then I was like already with Wouter and Alba, a sweet move around there, or Colo there as well, and then I just used the DRS guys, Jensen, to save DRS and pull away from Alba. And then just floored it from then onwards. I really don't care if I get the win or not, to be honest. I'm still happy with P2. But I think I'm going to get it, so quite happy.
Yeah, there was one moment in that race, certainly in the last few laps, where it was borderline 5 seconds between you and Connor. Were you worried at any stage that Connor might just get you, which he did eventually add on track?
I was so sure driving that 5 seconds are just gonna get removed, but then I read some Discord and YouTube comments, so not 100% sure anymore. So I think I could have pushed harder, but I don't know. I didn't really keep an eye on the 5 second gap too much. Just at the last lap, I tried to, of course, stay ahead, so I don't have to have the effort and send it in. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he drove a solid race, though, regardless, I think, of whether that 5 second penalty get removed. Gary, I'm going to hand over to you. Any questions?
Yeah, just like to say, really good recovery drive after getting that wing damage, after hitting the back of I'm sure. I don't really want to talk about the 5 second penalty because that's the shares really. I didn't actually see it, so I don't know. We'll see during the week, I guess. But yeah, once you had that wing damage and you fell down to 9th, you just briefly talked about drivers weren't really battling you that much. Did you think it was possible that you could get straight back up into P1? Of course, you got helped by Short spinning himself as well. That was one less guy to worry about. But like, was after that restart, were you always thinking, "Oh, actually, I still have a chance of getting this win," or was it just flat out and see what happens?
To be honest, I thought I was absolutely screwed. I thought like P5, 4 is going to be the maximum. But as then overtaking got easier, I already saw Alba quite close. Then I just knew, Wouter didn't really have the race pace in the first stint, that there's a chance. Obviously, I'm sure doing what he did, like getting spun around there like he did to me in preseason has helped and was tasty as well, gave me some extra motivation for sure.
Yeah, and of course you ultimately didn't pick up the win, but your teammate got the win. The only issue is he's also your championship rival. How concerned are you at Connor's pace, especially in the race? Of course, he hasn't really got the qualifying pace like you at the moment. But if he could switch that on, you said a couple of weeks ago that he was one of your guys that you feared, and it's starting to come to fruition. Do you think Connor can push you to a championship fight this season?
I'd love it, actually. I actually love battling him and racing him. It's just rare that we can do that, because he usually bottles qualifying like today. But yeah, if he gets it together consistently, which he hasn't done so far, he's definitely a threat. But we have to see what happens with that. We have to see what the handling patch is gonna do. how that's going to affect his no ABS against my ABS, against driving styles and stuff.
Yeah.
So impossible to tell, but he can definitely do it. He has the pace and the talent, so looking forward to it.
Well, I don't have anything else. Just like to say congratulations again on the second place. Who knows, maybe even a win after the stewards, but you still lead the championship in both the drivers and absolutely miles in the constructors. That's probably wrapped up already, so congrats on that again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much. Thanks for commentating. Love you.
Love you, bye.
I love the connection between Gary and Montana. It is absolutely beautiful every single week. However, I am going to introduce you, of course, to Rocco, who finished, of course, in P3, 7th on the grid. And you had such good pace, Rocco. You didn't make your chances felt, though, against the likes of Alba. Were you just too conservative to try and get through?
I don't have the pace of Alba and these people. I was happy to sit there. I was struggling. He was 7 tenths ahead, and I was just trying to stay in his DRS. So it worked out pretty fine.
Yeah, it worked out pretty fine indeed. Of course, finishing in P3, an absolute excellent result for you, of course, at your home track. But just talk us through that safety car period, because it got a little bit sketchy. You were ahead, I believe you were behind Wouter when you came out of the pit lane. And did you feel that you were going to try and make your way through the field like you did?
No. I'm very happy to sit in position. I don't like going for overtakes, but if I have to, then I will. Because it didn't help when I had the pressure on me that Dan was saying I could win the race with like 4 laps to go, and I was like, oh, okay, brilliant. But then Connor's just too quick, couldn't do anything with him. And yeah, Cantera made it a bit scary for me, kept me on my toes, but got past in the end.
Yeah, before I hand over to Gary as well, one final question. Rocco, Neo and Dylan, 3rd, 5th and 6th. Very good day for XL. Obviously looking maybe ahead towards EML in a couple of weeks' time.
And Dylan and Neo, the GOATs. What they did from where they are on the grid is mental, so fair play to them.
Yeah, of course, Neo 15th and Dylan 18th on the grid. Very good result from them. Gary, I'm going to hand over to you. You must be proud of your boy. Any questions?
I mean, he didn't win the race, so I'm not that proud of him, no. But yeah, this is your second podium of the season. Of course, you say yourself, you're not a guy that tends to be in these positions a lot. And you were saying you were getting a bit nervous when you were told that you had a chance of winning this race. Did that ever creep into your mind, though? Did you ever think, if I got past Alba, I could actually win this race? Or were you always thinking, worst case scenario here, I'm going to get a podium, so let's just make sure I get a podium and not risk anything?
I knew if I get past Alba, I am literally in a 5-lap hot lap battle with Montana, and he had about I had about a 5/10 advantage. So you know how that's going to end up if we're just going lap for lap. So I was going to lose to Montana anyway. Maybe I don't know if I could have done anything with Connor, but
yeah,
I know Alba was a bit of a hindrance, but
yeah, well,
we beat him.
To be fair, I don't think you can be too dissatisfied with 2 podiums this season already. And
definitely not. I'm buzzing.
No, just that moves me on to what is the aim now for the rest of the season? Because you probably fulfilled a lot of your dreams of this season, like what you wish to have. You got to have 2 podiums already. You were in contention for a race win. Like, what is next? You're carrying Red Bull in the constructors. To be fair, didn't had a good result tonight.
But respect.
Yeah, but you did a good result tonight. But yeah, what's the end goal here? Like, do you have like a points tally you want to aim for, or like, is there anything you're actually just aiming for? Or are you just taking it race by race?
I always aim for 50 points. I think I've hit 50 points every season I've done in D1 so far.
You've been nearly there already, I think, to be honest.
Yes, that's alright. I don't have the pressure's off. I just need a couple more little low point scores and I'll be at 50 points. But I don't really look at the standings too much. I know I ain't going to be competing with the top guys. I'm just enjoy racing them. But someone's going to do it.
Well, congrats once again on another podium and a great drive, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh, thanks, lads. Appreciate it.
Went a lot more smoother than your last podium interview, I have to say.
Yeah, I was on time this time. Lucky I didn't go and eat or something.
Good luck, man.
Cheers.
But that rounds us off tonight, of course, here in Britain for Division 1 of Liga. We have more action to come, of course. Division 2 and Division 5 going to be soon indeed. Whether we're going to see Gary win, possibly, in F2.
No,
yes, I have literally just said that.
No.
James, oh.
Thanks for the commentator's curse, but yeah, that was a great race, and yeah, I don't know. I've just taken over from James. I'm so sorry, but yeah, Connor was my driver of the day. I knew you were going to ask me that question anyway, but yeah, Connor was my driver of the day.
Yeah, totally agree. Connor definitely deserves driver of the day. 20th on the grid, up to first position, only being completed, I think, twice before. Once by Montana, I believe, in Season 2, and once with Alphatrix in Season 3. So he joins a relatively good Hall of Fame, I think, within LOE. But Connor, of course, wins. Montana second, Rocco in third. Fantastic to hear from them all. And, of course, more action to come Division 2 and Division 5 tonight. And a little bit of an exclusive announcement for me. Watch out on Twitter, maybe, tomorrow. I've got an announcement about an event I'm going to be commentating on. Just a shameless plug at the end of the stream, but why not? Why not? But there we are.
Yeah,
that is the end.
Why not?
That is the end for League of Europe Division 1. I feel like I'm never going to end this stream and Gary's going to be late for Division 2, but there we are. We will see you, of course, next week as we go to Singapore, the streets of Singapore. Very interesting race going to be there. And if it's anything like my bottle job on F2, there's going to be quite a few people struggling. But for myself and from Gary Donegan, from Rocco as well in the commentary box, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.